Hello and welcome everybody. I am Coach Felicia. I am so happy to be with all of you today, whether you can catch this live or whether you catch this later. I'm just happy to have you listen today because we are going to go over how to know when it's time to progress your weight. I think this is something that is super important whether you're new to lifting weights. Maybe you started with V-Shred and you were only doing body weight, and now you've graduated and maybe you've joined a gym, maybe you're doing dumbbells, bands, whatever. But it's super important to understand when it's time to push yourself safely and effectively. And when we're talking about progressing your weights, this is one of the most important things to understand to keep seeing results in your workout. Because a lot of people will either stay with the same weights too long and stop progressing, or people can progress too quickly, lose form, get injured, and wind up plateauing because of that. All right. A little bit about me, if you do not know, I've been a personal trainer, nutrition coach with a very long laundry list of specializations for over a decade now. I've been with V-Shred going on 6 years, and I just love everything about helping each and every one find their individual way for a healthier lifestyle, not just now, but long term. You have obviously been with V-Shred for a little bit, you renewed, so you're in this crew. So maybe this is going to hit and resonate at the perfect time for you. One thing with my background with corrective exercise is I'm very big on form, and progressing safely, because I don't want to see anybody get injured. And corrective exercise is one of those things that I've had to learn to be able to teach my clients when they do get injured, how to come back. So maybe you progress too quickly. Maybe that's you. We will go over ways to help you through that time. So grab your notebook, because today I'm going to break down in a very simple way how to do it, signs that your body give you that you're ready for more, when to increase them, how to build progress and confidence so that way you stop guessing. Number one, and most importantly, why progressing your weight matters, right? Why does it matter? So let's start with the big picture. Your body adapts to what you ask it to do. We talk about this with carb cycling, right? We change up the meal plan, we change up the carb cycling, we change the macros and different things because your body adapts. Same thing with the exercises. So if you keep doing the exact same thing over and over, when I used to work in a gym, I would see certain people do deadlifts, squats, bench press, same weight, same reps. They look the same literally for years, because they never pushed their body in different ways and forced it to be challenged, to have to acclimate, to make adjustments. So when you keep challenging your body with the same things, your body will get efficient at it. And that means that the workouts that once felt hard start to feel normal. And once it feels normal, it may no longer be enough to create that same level of change. That's where progression comes in. Progressing your weights is one form of progressive overload, which simply means gradually increasing the demand placed on the muscles over time, so your body has a reason to keep changing. That change might look like getting stronger, building muscle, improving endurance, tightening up and toning, improving performance, increasing confidence in your workouts. And a lot of people think that they need to completely overhaul their plan to get results. But most of the time, honestly, everyone, your workouts do not need a complete overhaul. Many times, your workouts simply need to become more intentional about progression. And I want to say this too. So progressing your weights does not mean every workout has to feel extreme. It does not mean that you need to be constantly maxing out. It does mean it does not mean lifting the heaviest thing possible, but what it means is you're using smart, appropriate challenges. So that's the goal today. Not random intensity, not haphazardly, but smart progression. Maybe you've heard your coach or myself say it, work smarter, not harder. That's what we're talking about. What progression actually means. Now, when we hear people say, progress your weights, they usually think that it only means grabbing heavier dumbbells. And that is one form of progress, don't get me wrong, but it's not the only one. So progression can mean increasing the weight, increasing the reps, improving form with the same rep, belly button to spine, elbows out in front, not letting your body swing around, improving control or tempo, up for 1, down 2, 3, shortening your rest period, increasing your range of motion, increasing total volume all over time. That's what progress can mean too. It doesn't mean that, all right, I did 15-pound dumbbell rows last week, I got to go to 20 this week. Yes, that can be a form, but it doesn't always mean that has to be just one way. So let's say you're going to do a goblet squat with 20 pounds for 10 reps. Progression might look like doing 12 reps the next time instead of 10, using 25 pounds instead of 20, keeping the 20 pounds but going slower and deeper, holding it and going 1, 2, 3, pause, up 4, 5, or keeping the same weight and reps but taking less rest. So maybe you had to take 30 seconds the first time. Maybe you're down to 25. There's different ways to increase your different ways of progressing. All of those things that I mentioned, those are all progress. All progress. So when we talk about progressing weights, we are specifically focused on when to increase the load, but I also want you to understand that strength progress doesn't just come from a number on a dumbbell or a kettlebell or whatever. Sometimes your body is progressing before the weight changes, and that's okay too. It's about keeping your body safe and listening to it. And that matters because people also underestimate progress if they only look at the size of the weight. And don't underestimate what you're doing. Don't underestimate that, hey, in February, I had all of my clients use a progress form of strength, and week 1, they might have only been able to do 20 seconds on a plank, but by week 5, they were up to a minute. That's progress. There's no weight number on there, but the time. That's progress. The biggest mistake people make when it comes to progressing weight is one of two things. It's not just one thing, it's one of two things. The first is staying too comfortable for too long. Maybe it's because you're just getting back into exercise and you're nervous about form or getting injured, or maybe you're afraid of gaining muscle. You're afraid of looking big. So you're like, I'm just going to do light weights. So I tighten and tone. And you're going to find the weight manageable. And then you're going to stay there for the weeks and then a month. And the workouts feel good, maybe even sweaty, but they're no longer creating enough stimulus to see any changes. So, we do the 2-pound weights and the arm circles, and then we do the 2-pound hammer curls and the bicep curls. But eventually, you're not pushing your muscles to the point of change, and you're not going to be able to see any more changes. So the first is staying too comfortable too long. The second mistake is progressing too aggressively. People will jump too far ahead. Their form breaks down. They start using momentum. Like I said, when you're doing bicep curls, you don't want to do bicep curls and you're using the lower body to get it up. It should be upper body doing all the work. So when you're breaking down using momentum, the wrong muscles will take over, joints begin to compensate. And so instead of getting stronger, instead of seeing results, instead of feeling good, you're going to wind up getting discouraged or even hurt from progressing too aggressively. So the sweet spot's right in the middle, guys. Challenging enough to create change, controlled enough to stay safe. Let me say that again. Challenging enough to create change, controlled enough to stay safe. And that's why learning the signs matter. Learning to know, when do I need to increase? When do I need to go a little bit longer? When should I add more reps? because your body usually tells you when it's ready. You just need to know what to look for. And it doesn't need to be something that's crazy, right? KISS. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Here are the signs that you are ready to progress your weight. And this is going to be like the meat and potatoes of today. Your current weights feel easier than they used to be. You might have started with one of the workouts from V-Shred. Maybe you're doing the follow along with Vince, or maybe you're doing the restore your core with me, or maybe you're doing just a regular dumbbell workout and you're doing the 5-pound weights, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, they just don't feel what they used to be. And like, this sounds obvious, right? Like, okay, I'm stronger. It doesn't feel as good anymore, it doesn't feel as challenging anymore. And it's obvious, but it matters. If a weight that used to feel challenging, or a workout that used to feel challenging that now feels very manageable, this is one of the clearest signs you may be ready to move up. Maybe the first time you picked up a 5, 10, 15 pound dumbbell for shoulder overhead presses felt super tough. And now you finish a set and feel like, I definitely had more in me. Or I can do 15 reps, 15 pounds, 3, even maybe 4 sets now. That's a huge clue from your body that it's time to move up in weight. Not because the workout should always feel miserable. That, if you know my heart, if you know me, workouts are not to make you miserable, but because you should be challenged in your workouts. Another sign that your body is ready to move on is you are hitting all of your reps with great form. This one's huge. I'm like the form police when I used to work in a gym. Like, I would be like, all right, so did that feel good? Okay, if it did, here's one thing. Like, I would give cues, right? Making sure that we're constantly working on engaging the right muscles. But let's say your program calls for 3 sets of 10 and you complete all 3 and 10 reps with solid, controlled 1, 2, 3, 4, proper range of motion, and no cheating. That's also a sign that you may be ready for more. Form comes first. It does. Form always comes first. If you're only finishing reps by rushing, swinging, arching your back, or shortening the movement, then you are not truly owning that weight yet. If you're using momentum to get that bicep curl up, if you are dropping that squat to the floor and bouncing back up, not ready yet. If you're doing deadlifts and you find yourself rounding forward towards the end, not keeping your shoulders back, core engaged, that's a sign that you're not ready yet. Those all matters. But if the reps are clean and consistent, that's different. It tells me that your body is adapting and ready for a new challenge. Another sign that you could be ready to move up in weight is you still have extra reps in the tank. I love when I have a client who says, yeah, I could have done like easily 10 more, Felicia. And that makes me so happy. It's where the idea of reps in reserve, right? It's really helpful to gauge. And at the end of the set, I want you to ask yourself, how many reps could I have done with good form? Try it out. If the answer is 4 or 5 more, the weight is too light for you and your goal. For most strength and muscle building work, you usually want to finish a set feeling like you could have maybe done 1, maybe 2, 3 more good reps, but not 8 more, right? You should not be able to keep going. If you're constantly ending feeling barely challenged, that's one of the strongest signs it's time to progress. What I love doing with my clients is every time we get to the end of a phase or a strength training period is I'll say, hey, we're going to start adapting and changing the workouts. From what I'm noticing on how you're feeling, it looks like X, Y, and Z are no longer challenging. I'm going to remove them. I'm going to keep the ones that are still challenging, but I'm going to put in 3 new ones to keep it going. So sometimes it's not just, it's not taking everything out, but it's taking out the ones that they're just not doing it for you anymore. Another sign that you're ready to move on is your technique stays solid from the first rep to the last rep. I did a workout this morning in Momentum Mastery, and for me, with the weights, I definitely could have done more. Absolutely could have done more, right? So if we're doing reverse lunges and I'm doing 15 reps overhead presses and we're doing all of them, or we're doing 20 of them, whatever, and I'm not feeling it in any part, and I could have kept going, it's a great sign my weights need to go up. But again, technique from beginning to end needs to stay completely solid. A lot of people look great on rep 1, but then they get sloppy by rep 10. That nice deadlift that you were doing, all of a sudden you start curling your back. By the end, you're not ready to move on just yet. When you're ready to increase the weight, your technique should pretty much stay consistent through the same set or throughout the set, which means your posture is stable, you're controlling the movement, you're not speeding through the hardest part, you're not compensating with other muscles. So if we're doing squats, we feel it in our glutes, hamstrings, and quads, not our knees, not our back. You're not holding your breath. Your breathing stays intentional. So when we go down in the squat, we're inhaling, bracing in, exhaling on the way up, right? When we're exerting. So your breath is very steady. If your form looks the same, beginning to end, another sign of readiness. The next one is your recovery is great, right? So if your recovery is good, and this one gets overlooked a lot, unfortunately, but being ready to progress isn't about just what's happening during the set. It's also about how you recover afterwards. So for me, doing that workout this morning with the lighter weights, I'm not feeling it. I don't feel it in my shoulders. I don't feel it in my legs. I don't feel anything too crazy. Now, when I'm teaching a live workout, I'm not going to exhaust myself like I would in privacy just because I need to talk through things. But like if you do a workout and you picked your medium weight and all of a sudden your 5-pound medium weight, you did the whole thing and you're like, man, I could have done so much more. Do that workout again, but go up to 7, go from 5 to 7.5 or 5 to 8, progress it and try it again. So if you're recovering well between workouts, great sign. Am I staying sore for days and days? If you're not, again, you're progressing. Recovery is good. Am I able to come back and perform again? Again, a great sign. Do I feel run down or do I feel strong and capable? This one I love, right? Because if your body is recovering well, that just means that your body's on track of being more efficient at keeping lean muscle on and losing body fat. I obviously am coaching soccer now during the week, and it's a very different animal doing cardio out on the pitch, out on the field, than doing cardio in my home or on my treadmill. It's a very different animal. So definitely having to adapt, definitely having to try, a little bit more therapy during the day, but it's getting easier and easier. So when you're trying new things, listen to your body. If you did Vince's 12-minute ab workout, intermediate, and it's no longer doing it for you and you're no longer getting sore, time to move on to the advance. If you're consistently exhausted, achy, or unable to bounce back, your body may need more consistency before more load. Meaning, hey, listen, put a rest day in where you stretch and you do the foam rolling and you go for a light walk. I'm not saying that you need to go until things don't hurt. That's not it at all. You need proper rest days in order for your body to make the adaptations. But if you're able to do that lower body workout and you're no longer limping or walking like a newborn giraffe the next day, that's awesome. And that's just such a huge testament to all your hard work. Another sign that you're ready is you feel mentally confident with the movement. Those curtsy lunges or push-ups or skull crushers that once scared you or intimidated you is no longer an issue. So confidence matters more than people realize. Like going up to a weight and not being afraid of trying it, even if you fail, is huge. And again, you don't need to be perfect. I can't stress that enough. We want progress, not perfection, but you should feel like you understand the exercise and how to control it, right? So if you don't understand how to do a skull crusher properly, elbows in to your head, don't try to add an extra 10 pounds. No. That's how you get a nice welt in your head. Make sure you feel good with the movement, proper form, proper breathing, you're recovering well, all of those things before you try to just up, the weight for the sake of moving up the weight. For example, like if you're doing a Romanian deadlift and still feel confused about the hip hinge, it's not the right time to go heavier. But if you feel stable, aware, in control, the confidence is often a sign you're ready for the next step. The last 2 reps are challenging, but not chaotic. And this is one of my favorite quick checks of, is it time for Felicia to up the weight? The final reps should feel like work. You should have to work, but they don't look chaotic. Like maybe you're on your 3rd or 4th set and you did like 15 to 20 reps, which is a lot. And then on your last 2, they're hard, and hard is okay. Messy is your warning sign. So if you're getting a little sloppy, if your form starts to go, not quite there yet, get a few more workouts, a few more weeks, but hard is okay. Messy is not, all right? So if the last 3 reps are controlled but challenging, great. If they turn into jerking, bouncing, twisting, or holding your breath in a panic, stay where you are for now. You're not quite there yet. Last sign that you're ready to move up and move on is you've been consistent. You have those green check marks in your calendar. You're putting in the work. If you've done an exercise one time, that's not enough. You can't change the exercises each time. If you've done it consistently for a couple weeks and it's clearly becoming easier, that's better data. Your body needs repeated exposure before you can accurately decide whether you're ready to progress. So one good day doesn't always give you enough. It's time to look for patterns of behavior, not just isolated movements. So make sure that you're able to do it a few times and it feels easy, or you're able to, shorten the rest, or your X, Y, and Z, all those other signs we talked about. And it's not just a blip on the radar, like, oh, good, it's easy, I'm done. No. Make sure that you've done it a few times and it's a pattern, not an isolated event, and then you can move up and move on. How hard should your weights feel? Let's make this even simpler, okay? A good training weight should feel like the first few weights are controlled, the middle reps require focus, the last few reps feel challenging, but you can maintain form and you finish knowing you've worked, but not like you survived chaos. So a simple scale of effectiveness of effort is from a 1 to a 10. So for many workout sets, you want to be around 7 to 9 out of 10 effort. Which means, and write this down, 1 to 4, it's way too easy. 5 to 6 is somewhat challenging, but probably still plenty left. 7 to 8, strong training zone. 9, very hard, maybe 1 rep left. And 10, absolute max, no reps left, usually not where you want to live, okay? So 10 is not where we live. We live in the 7 to 9 range. If every set feels like a 5, you probably need to be a little bit more challenged. If every set feels like a 10, you're pushing too hard, scale it back. So be in the middle where sustainable progress lives. How to safely increase your weights? Increase gradually, number 1. Increase gradually. Do not do giant jumps, okay? For upper body exercises, even going up by 2.5 to 5 pounds can be plenty. For lower body exercises, maybe even 5 to 10 pounds, depending on the movement and the person, but small jumps are powerful. The goal is not to shock your body. The goal is to challenge it just enough. Only challenge one variable at a time. If you're increasing the weight, keep something else stable. Don't increase weight, reps, and sets and reduce the time of rest all at once. That makes it too hard to know what your body is actually responding to. So a simple example would be last week, 3 sets, 10 reps with 20 pounds. This week, 3 sets, 10 reps, 25 pounds. That's clean. That's trackable. Rule number 3, use the double progression method. And this is one of the easiest systems to follow. So let's say your rep range was 8 to 12. You choose a weight and stay there until you can perform all of your sets at the top of the range with good form. For example, week 1, 20 pounds for 8 reps. Week 2, 20 pounds for 10, 9, 8 reps. Week 3, 20 pounds for 12, 11, 10 reps. And then last but not least, week 4, 20 pounds for 12, 12, 12 reps. Once you can do that, now you increase your weight. So it's very clean and very easy to make sure that you are keeping everything status quo and not overdoing it with so many different variables that's harder to track. I know this is a lot to take on, and I know that, it can be a little scary, especially if you don't have a lot of weights in your house. But let me make it into like real life examples so we can make this practical, and then you can take something with you today. Because that's how I live. I want there to be a practicality to everything that we do and not just haphazardly. So let's walk through a few examples. For number 1, a dumbbell squat. Let's say Annalie has been doing 20-pound dumbbell squats for 3 sets at 10 reps. At first, rep 8 through 10 felt hard. Now she can finish all 3 sets and she feels like she could do 4 or 5 more reps. Her depth is solid. Her knees track well. Her core is engaged. That's a strong sign that she's ready to go to 25 pounds. Okay? So again, it no longer feels hard at the end of any of the sets and reps. She could do more. Her depth and mobility is solid. Her knees track well. Core is engaged. Everything's good to go. Example number 2, shoulder press. Let's say Judy is using 15-pound dumbbells for 10 reps. Everything's good. She finishes the reps. The last 2 reps involve with arching her lower back and she loses control. That means that Judy is not ready yet, and we keep that weight and we work on pulling in that core so we don't arch our back. We stay there until we're able to clean it up and even maybe slightly regress the weight or the reps and clean up the form. Once the form is ready, we can move back to the reps, back to the sets, and then she can progress. Last but not least example, and then we're going to wrap it up, is lunges. You can technically complete the reps, but the balance is shaky and you're rushing through them, right? You're just trying to get through. Even if the weights feel light, progression may not be adding weights yet. We're not going to progress with the weights. Progression may be improving control. So focus on slow, steady movements, breathing, time under tension. All of those things are way more important than just adding weights to add weights. And again, slowing it down is still progress. It doesn't need to be overly complicated. It doesn't need to put yourself at risk of injury. All right? So let's wrap it all up. You're likely ready to increase the weights when your current weights feel easier than they used to. You're completing all the reps with strong form. You have a little bit left in the tank. Your technique stays consistent. Your recovery is good. You feel confident and stable with the movement. The final reps are hard, like the last 2, but you're still in control. You are not ready when form is breaking down, pain is present, recovery is poor, consistency has been off, you're relying on momentum, and you still don't feel in control of the movement. The biggest thing I want you guys to take away from today is progression is not about proving something. It's not. It's about creating the right next challenge for your body. Not Vince, not mine, not Brandy, not fill in the blank. It's for you. And when you understand that, strength training becomes so much more empowering. You stop guessing, you stop under training, you stop forcing things, and you start building strength in a new way that is smart, safe, and sustainable. So the next time you pick up your weights, instead of asking, should I go heavier just because, you can ask, have I truly earned that next step, and implement one of those progressions I talked about. And that question, guys, is going to change everything. So I really appreciate you listening to me today. I hope that opened up some insight into your current training process and program, and you can take that with you for months and years to come. But enjoy your exercise. It's a gift. It is not a punishment. And I look forward to hearing how you guys utilize these tools and techniques moving forward in the days and weeks to come. I will talk to you guys all later. Bye.